Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai, Jai Jai Ram Om. Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai
Oh, it's again gone like that way, Swamiji. I don't know why it keeps changing the settings.
Setting, huh? I have to go to the setting.
Yes, Swamiji. You go to settings, you go to display settings. In display settings, you have to go to, from portrait, you make it landscape. Like
Setting,
this.
setting, setting,
see, Swamiji, first you
display
click on this. First you click here. This. You do it, Swamiji, while I do it.
Okay. Setting.
First you go here, then you go to settings, then you come here, write display.
Display setting is there.
Then display settings. That's it. Then you go up. Then
Display.
then landscape is written here, no? That would have become portrait. So you just make portrait into landscape. Landscape is horizontal, portrait is long. See? It will become like this. And then close this off. Now I'll just bring the laptop and come in a minute. Just now you need this. This will be required just now.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, 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 pranam. From tomorrow onwards, for the next 10 days, we will not be in ashram. Tomorrow definitely it is not possible. From day after tomorrow, we will try. But what I would suggest is, we have enough on our to work. Why not we have a break and everybody try to concentrate upon the various aspects of Bhagavad Gita which we discussed. If possible, day after tomorrow we will inform. We are not sure with the place where we go, whether internet is available or not. We will try, and otherwise we would request you to do that. What is requested? Everyone will try to pick one sloka from one chapter, and all of you must have had a copy of the.
Oh, the last time we said that examples.
With examples?
We had sent one sheet.
Not one sheet. With examples.
We just put the wording.
No. That won't do.
That whole thing is not sent from me.
No,
Then
we can send it then.
We'll send.
We will send it. We will send the format. How we can take up this in-depth study of Bhagavad Gita at the same time relating to our daily life. So this 2.5 years when we started working, Papa guided us, and finally we can't say finally, at the moment he has given almost a a formula as to how we should approach Bhagavad Gita. So first we go through the chapter. Everybody must be having the book. Whatever that particular stanza, when you go to the reading, whatever that strikes you, I mean, there is an alignment with that theme of the stanza. Then you immediately you write it, and then start thinking about it. How does it relate to our life? So sloga, chapter, sloga, meaning, then how does it get related to? We have to do some thinking. Nobody will be able to guide us. And then we find out an example. This is the procedure now. Then only the real purpose will be served. Otherwise, we are somebody is reading, somebody is hearing, that's all. The real purpose is that all of us have to try to make an entry into Gita. Yesterday, one devotee has sent through email on 2 chapters. It is very good. But this format, if it is also there, the example has been brought out very well. So what we have to do is go through along with our Ramnam, not at the cost of Ramnam. Because Ramnam is our support. But instead of reading or instead of doing something else, suppose we take up this, just open the book, one chapter we completely go through, meaning at least, then whichever meaning gets aligned with our thinking, God will direct us. That particular sloka, we write it down and then think about it. How does it get it related to our daily life? And when we are thoroughly convinced, then we will also try to get one example. I think this is more important. Rest of the things we have done enough study now. Philosophy has gone inside. So that is how we completed that 18. All of you who are having email, they will get it. Shraddha will send everything. This evening you will get it. So go through that. Another one is, suppose you are not in a position to write it in English, don't worry. You all know English. Probably to present it you may not know. So you do it in your own language. Because it is not to be shown to us, We are trying to work out for ourselves. And wherever it is possible you feel like sharing, it will be beneficial to others, that you can inform us in your own language, we will get it translated. Individual study and a collective study. Is that all right? Did you try? Yeah. So please try. Because at least if
we'll try to do that for sure.
And don't worry about whether you take it from suppose you are unable to get one aligned in a particular chapter, don't worry, go to the next. Because we don't have to go in the chronological order. If there is a chronological order, it will help us later. But at the moment, to start with, any chapter, any shloka. One example I will just explain. So, casually we took up. We are going through the first chapter. 45, sloka number 45 of chapter number 1. Ahobada mahatpapam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajyasya sukhalobhena handum swajanam udyata. Arjuna's words in chapter number 145 express his distress. Alas, we are committing a great sin. by being ready to kill our own kinsmen out of greed for the pleasures of the kingdom. This is the meaning. So when we read it, we stop. We know that Arjuna was forced to, Pandavas were forced to go for this war. They, through Sri Krishna, tried their level best for mediation. Even a stage came when they will be satisfied with 5 houses, though not half the property or half. Even then it was refused. So they know that it was not for the pleasure of war that they are engaging in war. It is purely for the righteousness. That is why the war date has been fixed and everything is fixed. Sri Krishna was the charioteer, all Maharajas were on the other side, and Arjuna comes there and says, Sri Krishna, take my chariot and place it in between so that I will see with whom I have to fight. And so many things, he was justifying of not entering into the war. And this is the last but one sloka of that particular. After this, he says, I will not fight. Last but 2, okay. Eva muktarjuna sankhye rathovastu upavishati visrijya sacharam chavam shokam samvigram manasa. So this particular sloka, 45, 46, 47. So 45, Arjuna says, alas, we are committing a great sin. Does he not know that before this? So we start thinking on those lines. And in the next slokas he says, I am not going to fight. So we take it that he wanted an excuse not to fight. At that time he giving us a big philosophy, tall talk. So this is how, it may be wrong or right, this is how we look at it. When we want to avoid one particular involvement, our mind brings out some justification to take shelter under that and then quietly move out. So based upon that, when we started thinking, it became clear to us. When Arjuna's made seem to stem from piety, because of his concern for others, generosity. The truth is that he is confronted with this challenge due to dharma. To refine the mind, one must be vigilant against such hypocrisy. Often a person is guided by a self-projected image which clouds their perception of reality. He is identifying himself with the people, projected image. Whereas it is the dharma, God is there in everybody. In God's place, this is then, I am a nimittam. So this I should keep on thinking about it. My duty is now not for winning this. My duty is to establish the righteousness over unrighteousness. So then we try to get an example. Imagine an employee working at a company where unethical practices are taking place. He discovers that his department is involved in financial fraud. At first he feels deeply troubled and tells himself, I cannot be a part of such wrongdoing. It is sinful to deceive others. However, his distress is not just about ethics. He is entangled with the self-projected image of being a righteous person. Instead of acting on true dharma, which would mean exposing the wrongdoing or standing up for truth, he rationalizes in a way that serves his attachment. If I speak up, I will lose my job. My family depends upon me. Maybe it is not my duty to interfere others. Others are doing worse than things anyway. Some justification comes. So like Arjuna, his words appear pious, but they arise from fear and attachment, not clarity of dharma. The mind must be refined to see through this self-deception. That righteousness is not compromised under the guise of emotional distress or self-interest. This inference may be right or wrong, but this is how we get this. Later on again, when we go through, suppose it is not there, Papa will again guide us. Just like, when you try to bring out a figure, sculpture, just keep on chiseling the stone to bring out an image. He keeps on polishing, Similarly, the first one has come, rough cut. Then you again go through that. Then you find out what should be the title. So be mindful of the assumed personality's influence in speech and action. This is our workaday life program. I am doing Ramnam, I should not do this. I go to temples, worship the deities, I should not do this. I do bhajan, I should not do this. I do, going through scriptures, I should not do this. My father, my mother, my parents, my ancestors, they were all righteous people. That is the tradition they have left. I should not do it. Like that, this is refinement. So even if a stage comes when he has to leave that job, he will leave that job. And such a thing God will take care. Or you make the boss understand that it is not right. Probably in a loving way, convincing way, perseveringly, like that. So we are connecting with one sloga, we are connecting with our daily life. And when we do that, don't think that straight away we will get answer. We have to do a lot of thinking. But that process, will put us on refinement. Because nobody else is here. Only we and our life. So we are trying to stitch that which had happened in our life, or we have seen or witnessed or heard, with this perspective. Second one we can say, Apuryamana Madala Pradishtam Samudmabam Pravishanti Yadvad Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Sapnodi Nakama Kami. Second chapter, 70th sloka. Beautiful sloka. So what is the meaning? Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging in it, likewise the sage who was unmoved despite the flow of indesirable objects all around him attains peace, not the person who strives to satisfy desires. When he is full, even when the rivers flow, the level does not go up. It can absorb. So that means, even in the midst of desires, I remain equipoised. This is the meaning. This illustrates a person who remains steady and self-contained, much like water naturally setting at its own level, despite being surrounded by sense objects. Such an individual has transcended cravings not by deprivation, but by inner contentment and a clear vision of the ultimate goal. With the desires no longer dictating his peace, he flows through life undisturbed, anchored in higher awareness. Imagine a street vendor selling delicious sweets in a bustling market. He is surrounded by the aroma, colors, variety of treats all day. Yet, he does not feel the urge to indulge constantly. Why? Because he knows his purpose. His focus is on serving customers and earning livelihood, not on satisfying his own cravings. Similarly, a person with a clear vision of their higher goal moves through life unaffected by fleeting temptation, such as the vendor remains undistracted among sweets. A wise person stays steady despite being surrounded by sense objects, finding peace in inner fulfillment rather than external gratification. So then we find out what should be the title. So the title comes, Remaining Untouched by Outer Influences. This title will give us a lot of inputs. Remaining untouched by outer influences. Samudram. rains, rivers come, but it remains untouched. We can get plenty of examples. We have to apply our mind. Those who are holding on to values, resolves, tapascharyas, disciplines, प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणै कर्मणि 27. प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणै कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम इति अन्यते. All activities are carried out by the three gunas, but in ignorance the soul, deluded by false identification with the body, thinks itself as the doer. Wherever there is a mind, actions naturally follow. These actions originate in the mind, gain strength from the mind, are ultimately executed by the mind. However, due to mistaken identification with the mind, the individual falsely believes that he himself is the doer. The ego, which arrogates action to itself, inevitably develops anxiety over success and an intense attachment to the result. When we read this sloka, we do some thinking, All activities are carried out by the three gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo guna in us. But in ignorance, the soul, we feel, deluded by false identification with the body, thinks of itself as the doer. All of us. Now consider an example. A landowner planning to be away for some time grants power of attorney to a trusted friend to manage his estate. Now imagine what would happen if this agent forgets that he is merely a representative and begins to think himself as the owner. The result would be utter confusion and disorder. Similarly, in every action one must remember that he is only an instrument, not the true doer. In the Vyavaharic state, when such a person refuses to leave, he will be given a dismissal order and revoking the power given to him, and in the newspaper there will be a public statement that I have withdrawn, I have revoked the power of attorney given to him. Hereafter, henceforth, anybody dealing with him will be purely on the individual level, not on the property level. So here God does not interfere and do that. He doesn't do that. He gives us a long rope. So we start thinking through an example. So the agent thinks he is the doer, but the agent should know he is the manager of an organization, for example. He has to manage the then and there affairs, but he is guided by the board of directors or trustees. They are formulating the policies. And suppose the manager trespasses his limits and acts like the owner, what will happen? He should always know I am accountable to the board of directors, called board of management, or if it is a trust, board of trustees. He might outwardly, he is the person who does it, but he should know heart of heart that he is only carrying out the instructions of his boss. So this is how we try to understand. When you read this, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sadrishah Ahankara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. I am aham karta. Then chapter number 4, 24. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gandavyam brahmakarma samadhinam. All these things we used to hear, no? We may also chant. Any means of offering is Brahman, oblation is Brahman, fire in which the offering is made is Brahman, and the one who offers is Brahman. Such a person who abides in Brahman indeed gains Brahman. If an individual can perceive the underlying reality beyond all names, forms, actions and behaviors, then regardless of circumstances, everything and everyone serves as a reminder of the infinite blissful truth. For such a person, all actions lose their binding force because every act is an invocation of the truth itself. This is the meaning we try to understand from the textual meaning. And then think about it. For example, a bullock was found on the roadside with a fractured leg, bleeding from an accident. The vehicle that hit did not stop. Upon learning about this, compassionate individual did not dwell on who was responsible, but immediately took action. He arranged for the wounded bullock to be transported to his home, provided medical care for nearly 7 months. To him, the opportunity to serve as a divine gift. The means of transport was provided by the divine. The doctor and the medicine were his God's provision, and his role was simply to perform his duty and dedication. And finally, that bullock passed away. We also remember the owner of the bullock came and said, "It is my bullock." So the person asked, "Will you go and treat it?" "I don't have money." "Okay, now what do you want?" "I want 500 rupees for this bullock." He paid that money and treated. And finally the bullock also died. At that time, not now, this is in mid-80s, more than 2,000 rupees were spent for treatment. But never a word is uttered. It's all right. We have been given an opportunity to serve that soul until it quits. It may, the date of death must have been decided by that. We cannot do that. But we have been given, instead of grumbling, complaining, you are seeing only the opportunity given by God, and everything has been given by God, and He does it.
We will just switch over.
Huh?
Electricity went away.
Huh?
Electricity went away. It's connecting automatically.
By the time you set again, it will come. So now think about it, please. So we go through one chapter, its meaning. How do we understand the meaning? We put it in our own words. It is not for showing anybody, so we don't have to be worried at all. It is purely an internal study. And then connect it with an example. So that next time when you hear Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, it will not be a ritual before we eat. We know nothing about the meaning. Everybody talks, we also do. Everybody does like this, we also do that. Everybody eats, we also eat like that.
Swamiji is not in the satsang.
Huh?
So somehow gone off.
The chain is pulled.
Sorry, Swamiji, this satsang is gone off.
Because whether this comes or not, what we say is important, no?
Yes, Swamiji.
You are worried about what is shown.
No, it is not shown. The satsang only went away. You were not visible to them.
Need not know. They will hear at least.
No, they couldn't hear also. Nothing was there. Now you are there.
Now we can hear. Now we can see and hear.
Now we can see and hear.
So the idea is, we are now again going through this example format. I won't say that this is perfect, but this is all evolved now. You go through a sloga, read the meaning, think about it, pray to him to give you your own meaning, then you try to get an example, then you give a suitable caption so that it's easy to remember. The whole thing we may not be able to remember, but a caption can easily be remembered. So from the first, probably if you have not seen, be mindful of the assumed personality's influence in speech and action. So every one of us has got an image of about ourselves. We have to now check, we have to be vigilant whether this projected individuality, that is the me and mine, which does not recognize the existence of the power behind it, whether be mindful of the assumed personality influence in speech and action. Am I speaking based upon the image? Yes. Have I forgotten completely about it? Yes. So I should do that. I should be careful. I am unable to bring both into the picture same time, so I keep on praying. So this is called refining. The next one is remaining untouched by outer influences. So ultimately, it should zero to these words. Be free from the sense of ownership. Recognizing the true source of all things leads to surrender, Brahmarpanam. Recognizing the true source of all things leads to surrender. All things. Then only the surrender will become complete, correct? Everything has been given by him to us. So everything is his. The other day we read, Papa's simple words. Nothing is yours. Everything is his. In simple word, we tried, correct. Even the bijam, I came out of that bijam, seed, that is his. Body he gave. When the body came out, whatever is necessary for the existence of the body, he had provided it through Panchabhutas and Mother Nature. And then he gave me life. He gave me consciousness. He gave me intelligence. He has provided to me every creature comfort through his creation. When we keep on thinking about it, then everything is his, Nothing is mine. Think. Then actions exclusively for freeing from me and mine. Here we did not, Bullock, okay. Actions exclusively for freeing from me and mine, not to add me and mine. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalair indriyairavi. Light is not there. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalair indriyairavi yogina karma kuruvandi sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. The yogis, while giving up attachment, perform actions with their body, senses, mind and intellect only for the purpose of self-purification. They also act, talk, do everything, but it is for self-purification only. So action, and then we try, a karma yogin's attempt is to keep himself within himself as though he is detached but an interested observer of all that is happening around and within him. When he thus observes himself from within himself as a worker in any given field, it becomes easy for him to see that all actions belong to the above mentioned instruments of action and not to the detached observer in him. It may be a higher stage, but we will try. I know that I am talking now, no? That is how the partition takes place. I know that I am seeing. That knowing principle is different from the seeing one. So for example, it started in 2010 on a day when Gangadhar Tilakatnam, a retired railway officer, was trying his best to maneuver his Fiat car on the road near his home, which was full of potholes. As careful and considerate as he was to the pedestrians, he could not help splashing muddy water from one of the potholes onto the neatly starched uniform of a little girl and her mother on their way to school. He deeply regretted his mistake, immediately got off the car to express his apology. He did not rest easy after this incident and immediately took steps to repair the entire road, starting from his home. He was prompted to spend at least 15 years of his life fulfilling 1,125 potholes in Hyderabad using his own pension money without any publicity. Actions exclusively for freeing from me and mine. Now you see the example and the title, no? And what is the instrumental cause? 11th sloka of the 5th chapter. So that means the process of refinement takes place when we approach Bhagavad Gita with this attitude. We are not interested in learning it by heart, conducting Gita chanting. No, we are not at all interested. That is also right, but we are not interested. We are interested in connecting it to the daily life. Refining. Treat your, then, Uddhared atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaive hatmano bandhur atmaive ripur atmanaha. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself, for the mind can be the friend and also the enemy of the self. So we are trying to understand it in our own language. Mind is your greatest asset, your greatest wealth. By some aberration, by some mistake, it has been regarded as a problem. If so, you have to convert it into an asset, because it is an asset. It has not been given to you to be a problem, but on the contrary, it has been given to you to be utilized as the greatest thing that has ever been given to a being. For it throws wide open the portals of liberations and perfection. The mental state is the ultimate deciding factor, and the portal and the antakarana of the mind and intellect, the ultimate deciding ground where your life and the ultimate outcome of your life has to be worked out. For example, Don Ritchie, an Australian living by a cliff, has prevented around 60 suicides in his 50 years of living there by striking up a conversation with people attempting to commit suicide and inviting them to his house for a tea. Such a friendly gesture of this changes the heart of such a dispirited person, helps them regain confidence and grit to face any challenges in life. That means the mind, when its proper worth is recognized, will be useful for the other person and others. Uddharet atmanatmanam. So through this example, we are trying to understand the meaning, and then you treat your mind as your close friend. Because he has been with me, during all my stressful as well as happy, the so-called happy time, the mind has been with me. It can uplift me. It can make me unaware of this also. But I have found, though for some time he does not reveal this true nature, I again gain back only by his help. He makes me to get in touch with somebody. He means mind. Mind is trying to read something. Mind is trying to memorize something. Mind is trying to motivate us to get in touch with somebody. And then the whole mindset gets changed. Papa, in one of his writings said, a distant look at Gandhiji, that was the first spiritual touch. He was passing through terrible stress. And the transition from Vittal Rao to Ramdas and Swami Ramdas, that was accelerated by promptings of his mind to attend Gandhiji's lecture. Like that, so many things. Mataji's turn came because when mind prompted her to go to have darshan of Papa because of her brother-in-law. So like that we try to now, then our whole attitude towards our mind also gets changed. So treat your mind as your close friend. Then chapter number 7, sloka number 9. Punyo gandha prithivyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau Jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. I am the fragrance of the earth, the brilliance in fire. I am the life force in all beings. The inclination, the penance of the ascetics. When the sense of individuality recognizes that its very existence depends on the life force, the inclination to claim absolute authority diminishes, allowing humility to arise. I have been arrogating, I am doing, I am thinking, I am planning, I am intelligent, I have done this, I have done that. But I hardly recognize I am existing because of the life force in me. The heartbeat, the blood circulation, the digestion, and the inhaling, exhaling. If these four are not there, I don't exist. I don't need any college or university to teach me this. This is what is called life force. That is the one which sustains this equipment. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. So when I read this, rest of the things I may not concentrate. But the moment I read this, I become aware. Oh, he is there within me in the form of life force. Just as a diligent manager operates an institution, using his knowledge and expertise, yet always defers to the proprietor of board of directors for final decision, knowing that his role exists because of them, the individual self too acknowledges its dependence on the higher life force. We call it in our language, loyalty, sincerity, dedication. We can bring out it in any way we want. So we are just putting how the mind now tries to understand. Don't think that this should be the method. No, the contents can differ. But what we are trying to understand is the method. And then we give it title. What is the title? Recognizing the core of our being leads to humbleness. The core of our being is the life force. Then I become humble. If it is not there, I don't exist. My body and mind will not work. So we give a title. This title can be given only later, after you come out with your example. And the purpose of giving the title is, after some time you remove everything, only this title, then you will, easy to remember. Through that we will try to remember the example. Through that example we will try to know it is from Gita. And a little more studious approach will know which chapter, which sloka. Tasmat kaleshu sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmari vidyacha mayarpida manobuddhihir mam evaishtashi. Chapter number 8-7. No, not 8-7. Some mistake. What is it? You have to find out. That's what I have written, but it is not there. No? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmari vidyacha mayarpida manobuddhir mamaiveshasya samshayam. Asamshayam. Okay. I tell you, nobody need. Therefore, the meaning is, therefore at all times constantly remember me and fight. With your mind and intellect absorbed in me, you will surely come to me. Surely come to me. Don't have any doubt. Remembering the ideal and making a persistent effort to realize it ensures success. Remembering the ideal. Therefore, at all times, constantly remember me. Remember me, we can take it in any way. Here we thought, ideal. And the example is Srimati Sudha Chandran, a renowned dancer and actress, exemplified unwavering determination in her pursuit of dance. After losing her leg due to medical complication following a car accident, she embraced the challenge and adapted with resilience, and she considered the accident is a blessing, believing that without it she would have been just one among millions of dancers. However, performing with the Jaipur foot made her truly unique. Her journey has been a beacon of inspiration, not only for the differentially abled, but also for the able-bodied. This may not directly suit, but this is how it prompts. The ideal, constancy. Then you try to find out what can be the title. Constancy is a must for success. If I have to realize God, I must constantly remember. If I have to actualize an ideal, I must constantly strive for it. I should be clear about the ideal, then I must be constantly striving towards it. So constancy. The 9/26. With this we will close. Then let us see. Patram pushpam palam thoyam yome bhakriya prayachati tataham bhaktyuvahridam ashnami prayadatmanaha. If one offers to me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, I delightfully partake of that and offered with love by love by my devotee in pure consciousness. Whatever actions that are undertaken, what is most important is the attitude with which it is done. Gandhiji was anxiously searching for a tiny piece of pencil. A new pencil was given, but Gandhiji insisted for the tiny pencil like a stubborn child. When pressed, why he is so adamant to have you? You don't understand. The little pencil is very precious to me. Nateshan's little son gave it to me in Madras. He gave it to me with so much love and affection. I cannot bear to lose it. Finally, the pencil was found. To him, it was no ordinary pencil. It was the token of a child's love. And to Gandhiji, a child's love was very precious, not the material. So, we read again we repeat, Patram Pushpam Baram Toyam. So what is important is not the what you give, but with what attitude you give. When we read that, we try to get an example and then we give a title. Feeling is more important than the action itself. Sudama, you remember what he gave? The bhakti. Many instances we have come across in our own life. They may not be able to give them. That is something which had happened in the Puranic times. We are now trying to remember in our own times. There was a function, relatively a big function. So many people are there, and during that function, there is a provision for Ashirvadam, where people give this offering. It was an Upanayanam to the brahmacharis, relations, friends, everybody will come and give. The priest will announce it, that's all. It is not to satisfy the ego. The idea was, in good old days, it was there in the ritual. In the good old days, even if you give 1 rupee, it will not be mentioned in the mantra as 1 rupee. Every time, it may be 1 rupee or 4 annas. We remember that, but every time it is sanctified by these words. And I remember on such occasion, one grand old lady who is full of love, she was unable to give anything, so she called the brahmacharis, and when nobody was there, she had tucked quarter of an anna in her sari, took it, and with tears, only this I can give you. We remember, what had happened in 50s, we still remember. Because of the love, that's what he says. It is not the 4 annas that mattered. But that love. So, feeling is more important than the action itself. Like that, we try to coin out a title. And after that, we remove everything, only see the title, and then we try to remember the example, just like we are now recollecting, so that you can join together. This is the process of refinement that takes place through Bhagavad Gita. I think we have time for one more. I think okay. Next chapter, 10th, 41. Yadyad vibhudimat sattvam srimad-durjitameva tattadeva gaccha tvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Mama tejo amsham sambhavam. It is a part of my tejas. Okay. Whatever you perceive as beautiful, magnificent or powerful, know that it is but a mere spark of my infinite splendor. In chapter number 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord presents 54 diverse manifestations illustrating His presence in all names and forms. He reveals that even the most majestic and mighty aspects of creation are but a fraction of His boundless glory. This is how we try to understand that slang. Now, consider a multi-lane highway. While driving on it, we may feel it stretches endlessly. Yet, when we viewed from a mountain top, its grandeur diminishes. From the window of an aircraft, it appears no more than a thin line on a vast landscape. Similarly, when we look up a word in the dictionary, we confine our understanding to its immediate meaning. However, when we recognize that this word is merely one among the countless others, we gain a deeper appreciation of the language's vastness. In the same way, every individual object or situation is but a glimpse of that infinite, an expression of the divine's immeasurable presence. So, like this we try to connect up, and then what do we get? The magnitude of the infinite is evident even in the minutest. This itself, we have seen an ant, or many of us every day come across mosquito, The life force in the mosquito, how tiny. We have seen an elephant. See the difference? So when Papa said, he is there in entirety and perfection, in all equally. Here also it will come, samam sarveshu bhudeshu. So then we try, everything is only what I see, I should not limit myself. If I if I want to know the meaning of one word, suddenly it takes me to the dictionary, a mine of wisdom, What I am searching is a part of the language. And then I understand that language is so big, large. Dictionary, this will be chamber dictionary or also dictionary. So the language is appearing before the words. Suddenly you realize the vastness of its, not a single word. So all these things. So magnitude of the infinite is evident even in the minutest. Okay, this much we have worked. That also I will say. 11.8. Natumam shakyase dushtum aneinaiva swachakshusha divyam dadamite chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaram. But you cannot see my cosmic form with these physical eye of yours. Therefore I grant you divine vision. Behold my majestic opulence. Jnana chakshu, So suddenly we remember there is a saying. That means, when you see with your present eyes, it will be limited. Jnana chakshu means it is a broader eye, broader perspective. Then it is entirely different. So there is a saying that when you see the world through the goggles of limitation, the world seems finite. Similarly, in the process of diagnosis, the root cause of an ailment may seem insignificant, a small wound, However, when examined under a microscope, the true severity of the disease is revealed, allowing for better treatment. Likewise, the naked eye cannot perceive the infinite number of planets and the galaxy in the vast cosmos. But with a telescope, our vision expands to some extent. This illustrates a fundamental truth. Our intellect, by default, is limited. No matter how much we analyze, reason, or speculate, our understanding remains confined within these boundaries. However, Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter presents a striking example of how divine grace can expand human perception. When Arjuna, bound by his limited intellect, sought to comprehend Krishna's supreme nature, the Lord granted him divine vision. With this grace, Arjuna beheld the magnificent Vishwarupa, Krishna's cosmic form, revealing the entire universe within him. This vision was beyond the reach of mere intellectual inquiry. It is only possible through surrender and devotion. Thus, the intellect alone cannot grasp the divine infinite reality. But when refined through surrender and divine grace, one perceives God's boundless presence transcending all limitation. So this is the second batch we are working. First batch you must have all received. This is the second batch. So again we repeat.
Swamiji, the second batch is different shloka.
Second batch are different shloka.
Different sloka, definitely. Before we request you to do it, we must try first. If it is not possible for us, then how can I say that you should do it? I am one among you. So having heard this much, started trying whether one can do it. And it is possible, it can be done. So that is why we are trying to get now, what do you call, some idea about the methodology, how it works. By 2 or 3 such batches, all of us will get a clue. The first initial problem will be there. The first set of 18, second set of 18, third set of 18, probably fourth set of 18. After that you will find, kata 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 kata, it will come. And God willing, we might be able to reach 25% or 50% or 75% of the 700 slokas.
This will combine everything.
Then will be combined
You will then combine everything.
When you all give 18 each.
Okay, Swami.
If 10 people give 18 each, 180, 180 slokas will be covered. Again when we repeat 360, you just imagine. Another 18, 540, we have hit the target. Something of it will remain in our mind. It will help us in our handling men and matters.
Swamiji, if you give us Jnana Chakshu, we will be able to do it.
Yeah, give us Jnana Chakshu and
We are praying to Papa, you have opened up, please open up constantly. You are now opening up only from 3:30 to 4:30. Let it be open. Then he will slowly reveal one by one, one by one, one by one. So this is how we are doing it, but at the same time, we want to make it very, very clear, nothing at the cost of Ram Nam. Because if Ram Nam gets more and more stabilized in us, take it 100% guarantee that this journey will go smoothly. Because we are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is prompting us to do everything. So we are seeking his blessings, seeking his intervention, seeking his guidance at any time. So when he has given us this prompting, we know that Brahmarpanam Brahmavirno, you only gave us this prompting to take up Bhagavad Gita. You only gave us the prompting to search for so many things. You only gave us the methodology. Now kindly enable me to go through that practice and realize your presence in all that I see, in all that I talk, in all that I think, in all that I act. So our hold on Ramnam should become more and more firm. Okay, that's all for the moment. So tomorrow there won't be. Day after tomorrow we will see, if possible. Otherwise you...
No, sir. I think the open is closed.
Eh?
Swamiji got locked out of
No,
I
no.
think you're come out of Google Meet. Swami.
Yes, he's come out of Google Meet. Swamiji is again come out of Google Meet.
I don't know.
It is again and again going away. I don't know why.
I don't know. You have made something.
No, Swamiji.
Satyam Maranam.
I don't know what I did, Swamiji. I'll just save that. Now we'll connect again. We are chit-chatting, Swamiji.
Acha, for some time you were all away. Okay.
Swamiji, the students are talking among themselves like that.
She said, Swamiji was not a student.
I do.